In other news now, in the past few years, there has been a notable rise in cybercrime in South Africa. We've seen several notable data breaches, including Shoprite, Transunion and Transnet. These attacks, we understand, put millions of people's private information at risk. Let's find out now how bad the problem is and what can be done about it from Information Regulator. A member there is Mfana Gwala joining us this hour. Mr. Gwala, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time. I understand there was a breakfast briefing that the Information Regulator held this morning. What was the message that you are communicating from the Information Regulator around the issue of cybersecurity and data breaches? Mr. Gwala, I think you are muted. Mr. Gwala, I think your mic is muted on your device. Could you?
Okay. Oh, sorry wonderful. About that. Can you hear me now?
Yes, wonderful, wonderful.
Okay. Yes. No, what I was saying is that the briefing this morning was about, firstly, the fact that the regulator now is fully functional, because if you would remember, there were certain powers that were not in place. Now all those powers are in place, such as enforcement, the creation of the enforcement committee, and so on. So that was the purpose, and also just to report about what has happened, what issues that we've been dealing with so far.
Okay, and what are those issues? Can you highlight some of them? I've mentioned several notable data breaches that we've seen in the country recently that have put at risk the private information of consumers.
Yeah, in fact, this year, I think we've dealt with those quite for some time now, and we're talking a bit. These breaches happening at the highest level of corporate space, and that has been a very serious cause of concern, because I mean, some of these companies are companies that their core business relies on data management and processing of personal information, and the fact that you know, there has been these breaches has been a very serious concern from us as the regulator.
Now, the regulator,
and some of those are the ones that you've mentioned, you know, TransUnion, Transnet, you named.
Yeah. What are the efforts is the Information Regulator putting into place to try and assist in this, to prevent such breaches?
Yeah, well, some of our responsibilities is not just to punish people for wrongdoing. Is to try and assess measures that people put in place to safeguard the data that is in their possession. And it is only, in fact, what the message that we're driving out this morning was that, and we've been doing that for some time now, but there has come a time now when we have to start enforcing the compliance with POPIA, because we realize that in some instances, it's a lack of compliance with the provisions of the POPIA Act. And that's the reason that we were sending that message, that clear message this morning.
Yeah, okay. What kinds of penalties are covered under the Information Regulator? Let's say you're trying to assist, as you say, which one would call the carrot approach, but what kind of stick do you have?
The kind of stick, it can be fined up to about 100 million rand. And in fact, we can also issue notices where people have to comply. And unless they comply, I mean, they can't continue as business as usual. Like what we've said with the TransUnion group, where we were very clear about what needs to be done in terms of firstly reporting the breaches to the affected people, which is in this case the data subjects, and also demonstrating what safeguards have they put in place. Firstly, to ensure that they mitigate the breach, but also to assure us that no such a breach again will happen in the near future. So those are some of the measures that we've taken through. But in certain instances, we've actually taken out of our own initiative, we've actually examined some of the processes that some of these responsible parties have put in place. And where we've picked up gaps, we've always raised them with the responsible party. A case in point, for an example, is WhatsApp, which is one case that we're dealing with, where we had looked at the privacy policy of WhatsApp, and we raised the issue with them that the policy does not comply with the provisions of the POPIA Act. And at the moment, we are engaged in a process with WhatsApp to try and deal with that matter.
How is that process going? Many of us, millions of us use WhatsApp.
Yeah, we are actually pushing it very seriously. Obviously, there's always an attempt to push back from these big corporates, especially corporates such as WhatsApp. I mean, these are big high-tech global companies, and they always want to sort of use their weight. But we are very serious about this one, and that's what the regulator is pursuing it vigorously. We have had engagements with them. At first they were trying to resist that we do not have jurisdiction, but we clearly have jurisdiction. And what we're saying is that we're prepared to pursue the issue, even if it means it ending up in court to enforce compliance with companies such as WhatsApp.
Okay, thank you very much. It's good to hear that the information regulator is now fully capacitated. You are now working full steam on, and you've got a big stick of fining those who do not comply with the POPI Act up to 100 million rand. Ouch, that's a huge stick. Thank you very much, Mfana Gwala, from the information regulator of South Africa.